Good afternoon. I'm Manas Gartia, and I work with Professor Logan Liu. And I will give a brief overview of research focus in our group. And you can go to our website for details of those projects. And if you do Google search of Logan Liu, I think the first link will be our group website. So we truly work at the interface of nanotechnology and biotechnology. And the main research focus of our group is on nanomedicine. So mainly we work on surface plasmon based substrate to to find solution for healthcare and environmental solution, and mainly homeland security based application. And we also do several system integration based work where we combine the mobile and wireless interface for healthcare and agricultural sensing. And in order to support these two program, nanomedicine and this mobile healthcare solution, we are also working on simulation tool and computational tool to get solution for those two. So in this nanomedicine work, we generally work on surface plasmon based substrate to do surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy. For in this particular work, we have used surface plasmon substrate to do surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy for protein microarrays mainly for early detection of cancer biomarker. For example, in this work, we have used surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy to detect phosphorylation event in a particular peptide. So these are two synthetic peptides, one of which is phosphorylated and one is non-phosphorylated. And one of the advantages of Raman spectroscopy is it's very sensitive, but another disadvantage of Raman spectroscopy is also it's very sensitive. So you get too many number of peaks or chemical information, which is very difficult to process. So what we have come up with is making those heat maps where with some statistical analysis, we can differentiate between phosphorylated and non-phosphorylated peptide. For example, all these red color are for phosphorylated peptide and these blue are for non-phosphorylated peptide. So you can easily differentiate between phosphorylated and non-phosphorylated by using this kind of analysis. Also, another advantage with surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy is it's about 100 million times more sensitive than normal Raman spectroscopy, and also it's level free, and we need about 2 microliter volume for doing this kind of analysis. So this work can also be used for phenotyping and gene detection for agricultural solution. And again, using the same surface enhanced substrate, means using the same substrate using the surface plasmon based detection. We also want to make a multifunctional sensor which can do enhanced Raman sensing, also can do enhanced fluorescence sensing, and can also do enhanced cell imaging. So in this work, we used Chinese hamster ovary cell to show three-dimensional enhanced cell imaging, live cell imaging. So generally, cell imaging are done on normal glass-based substrate or polymer-based petri dishes. But if you see, those substrates generally do not provide any enhancement or anything to the cell imaging process. So most of the time those imaging are two-dimensional, so you don't get any three-dimensional fluorescence enhancement for those kind of cell imaging. But in this case, since we are using a surface plasmon based substrate, one thing it will do is it will enhance the excitation of light because of the metallic surface, and also due to these properties of surface plasmon, it will couple the light into the substrate, which can again couple back to the cell on the top. So in this case, we get enhanced fluorescence imaging with this particular kind of substrate. So here we tried imaging with both. We conjugated the fluorescent particle to the cell membrane as well as the cytoplasm, and you can see we have achieved fluorescence enhancement up to 15 micron above the substrate. Typically, even if you use total internal reflection microscopy, you get the enhancement up to few hundred nanometer. So here we can truly get a three-dimensional enhancement using this particular substrate. And in this work, we have actually transformed a musical CD into a medical CD. So here we are incorporating microfluidic into the CD to do cell counting and biomolecular concentration detection. For example, we are collaborating with A-Star at Singapore to mass fabricate the microfluidics inside the CD, and you can use typical CD driver or DVD driver to read the CD for say cell counting. So we have also collaborated with University of Chicago Medical Center to do islet cell counting for transplantation in type 1 diabetic patient. And this was a collaborative work with Professor Kokini, and here we want to replace the petroleum-based PDMS microfluidic material to a green, environmental-friendly microfluidic material. So here we used a protein called zine, which is derived from corn, to make microfluidic channel, which is biodegradable. So you can use this device in place of PDMS for as a environmental friendly microfluidic device. And recently we are using this for sensing the soybean cyst nematode based on this gene based sensor. And in this work, we are doing a system level integration of sensor and to wireless and mobile device. So here, truly we are coming up with not just a product, but a platform for doing this. So with this platform, if we swap the device or the sensor, then you can do several different sensing using the same platform. So in this case, we have come up with a nitrate sensor connected to a wireless module, iMode 2, and then we did several sensing like for agricultural water, lake water, and tap water. And we have also compared the result to industrial standard like cadmium-based detection, spectrophotometry, and also we have compared the result with enzymatic reduction-based detection. And these results are quite comparable with the cadmium-based gold standard detection. And to support all these device fabrication and sensor fabrication, we have come up with several novel nano manufacturing technique where we used maskless reactive ion etching process to make those nanostructure. And we have done this on wafer scale. And you can see before etching So because of nanostructure, this nanopillar structure, this wafer looks black, and we have utilized this. So this method is applicable for all crystalline silicon, polycrystal silicon, and amorphous silicon. So we can make nanostructure on any kind of silicon, and then we have utilized this for solar cell application. And after metallization, we have used this for earlier cell imaging and surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy based experiments. And to come up with to optimize the sensor, we have used several computational method and simulation. So for this particular example, we have used quantum mechanical based simulation like density functional theory to optimize the device performance of the surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy. So here you can get quantum molecular level information about the adsorption of different molecule on the substrate to optimize the substrate for better performance. Thank you.
So thank you. So I think this is the same time. We have to ask questions at the open house tonight.
Yes.
Terrific.